Today I'm going to do a book talk with you about 3 books that are all related to each other in some way. These 3 books are related to each other because all 3 characters in this book have to deal with overcoming an obstacle. Today we are going to be studying the standard, where you are going to write a narrative to develop real or imagined experiences using effective techniques, well-structured event sequence, and descriptive details. Today I'm going to share these books with you to get you interested in reading them, but you're going to be responsible for reading these 3 books, and then you're going to write a narrative about overcoming an obstacle that you experienced in your life. You are going to make sure that you use effective techniques to get the readers engaged. You want to make sure that you use well-structured event sequence and very descriptive details. The descriptive details are going to come from you using voice and being able to show your emotion of how that obstacle made you feel. And you'll see some of that done the way the authors develop these characters in these 3 books. They give very descriptive details to show you how those obstacles they went through made them feel, and they develop the events throughout the story, okay, to show when the obstacle started and then how they overcame it. So, the first book we're going to look at is by Patricia Polacco, and it's called Thank You, Mr. Fokker. This book is dealing with a girl named Patricia who is going to be, throughout her educational career in school, she's going to be dealing with an obstacle. Let's look at the front cover of the book. Looking at this, we know that Patricia is in school and she is dealing with some sort of disability. You're going to read to find out what type of disability Patricia has and all the things that she goes through to overcome that disability. She's going to go through this disability for years in school, and she's going to struggle with it, and she wants so badly to be like everyone else. She feels different, she's being teased, and she wants so bad to be normal. She feels like she's not normal. And I want you to ask yourself, do you think the way others treat us or the way we view ourselves have something to do with how we're treated by others? Do you think that, oh, if Patricia felt like she's different because of this disability, do others notice? So do you think self-confidence plays a part in how we're treated by others? So think about that when you read this book. And I'm going to read a little section from this book to show you how Patricia was feeling. That was the last day anyone laughed out loud or made fun of her, all except Eric. He sat behind Tricia for 2 whole years, but he seemed almost to hate her. Tricia didn't know why. He waited by the door of the classroom for her and pulled her hair. He waited for her on the playground, leaned in her face and called her Toad. Tricia was afraid to turn any corner for fear that Eric would be there. She felt completely alone. The only time she was really happy was when she was around Mr. Fokker. He let her erase the blackboards. Only the best students got to do that. And he patted on her back whenever she got something right. And he looked hard and mean at any other kid that teased her. So just think about that. Even though Patricia did not feel like she was like all the other students, there's something about Mr. Faulkner that makes her feel good. Read to find out why Mr. Faulkner is so special to her and why she's telling him thank you. And by the way, this is a true story. This is a true story about Patricia Polacco. She's writing about herself and something that she went through when she was in school, and she's telling you what she went through and how she overcame it. And hopefully, if anyone ever goes through anything like this, you will be able to do the same. So this book is going to help you complete your project along with the other 2 that we're going to go over today. And again, like I said, this is an autobiography. It's very close to the author's heart. You want to look at her relationship she has with Mr. Fokker and why he is so special to her. Okay? And sometimes it's hard for you to do something alone when you're going through an obstacle. It may be a friend that helps you. It may be a teacher that helps you. It may be a parent that helps you. So When you read this book, you're going to find out, did Patricia overcome this obstacle by herself? Do you always have to overcome an obstacle alone? Okay? So when you get ready to write your narrative, think about what she did to overcome an obstacle, and think about how well she listed those events to show how she overcame it. The next one is called One Crazy Summer by Rita Williams Garcia. This book has won several awards. It's won the Coretta Scott King Award. It's won the National Book Award finalist. It's won the Newbery Award. It's won the Scott Odell Award for historical fiction. And the reason why it's a historical fiction because it takes place back in the 1960s, and it's about 3 siblings who travel all the way from Brooklyn to Oakland. The reason these girls are traveling to Oakland is because they want to finally get to know and meet their long-lost mother who abandoned them 7 years ago. The main character, Delphia, is the oldest. She's 11 years old, and she's the only one of her siblings, Vonetta and Fern, who had a little bit of memories of their mother. Delphia was the oldest, so she can kind of remember some of the things that she remembers about her mom when her mother was around. But the other two do not know their mother at all, Vonetta and Fern. So they haven't seen her in 7 years, and they're going to go and stay with her in Oakland, California for 4 weeks. They also spend several days attending Black Panther meetings and learning how to be revolutionaries. The girls only wanted to get to know their mother, but she's going to make them feel very uncomfortable. She's going to be telling them things like she doesn't want them here anyway, she didn't ask them to come, and she wants them to do anything with their summer but bother her. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the girls, and think about how that makes them feel. Think about, do you think they're going to have resentment towards their mother when they get there? Do you think they're going to be able to build a relationship with their mother? How do you think these girls are going to overcome the obstacle of not feeling loved by their mother? You're going to read to find out if the girls overcome their obstacle, how did their relationship develop with their mother throughout the book, and in the end, did they finally build a relationship with their mother? What events took place for them to build a relationship with their mother if they did? And I'm also going to read you a little insert from here to get you hooked on this one. Their mother, Cecile, didn't care where they went on Saturdays and Sundays, as long as they stayed far away from her, peace and quiet. Our first weekend, we had played Go Fish and Tic-Tac-Toe in our room and waited for Cecile to announce that we were going to some adventurous place that existed only in California. By the second weekend, I knew we had to have a plan. Since the sun rose high that Saturday, I figured it was a good day to go to the beach and collect seashells for souvenirs. Vonetta, Fern, and I put on our bathing suits and sunglasses, and I asked Cecile to take us to the beach. I have never spoken Martian to someone and had them give me that look that only could be given to a Martian. Instead of answering our question, Cecile gave us a look that said, "Who are you and what planet did y'all come from?" I ended up taking my sisters to the city pool where we swam and splashed around without thinking about all the chlorine water knotting up our hair. When we come back to her house smelling like chlorine, I'd asked Cecile if I could use her hot comb to press out my hair, seeing that it was knotty. I expected her to say no outright because I'd smoke up her precious workplace with hair burning from the hot comb. So in that part, you can very well see that Delphia, Vonetta, and Fern do not have a very good relationship with their mother. But they are going to try to overcome that obstacle of not feeling loved and not knowing what is going to take place those 4 weeks while they're there. They're not being exposed to the new area. They're not being able to go places with their mother, do things with their mother, because after all, that's what they came for. They came to build their relationship. So this book is also about overcoming an obstacle. And it's about 3 siblings. And you want to look at how well the characters are developed, how each character is different, and what each character goes through in that book. And this last one is The Skin I'm In by Sharon Blake. And this book is a Coretta Scott King Award winner as well. It's also been chosen by the American Library Association. It is one of the best books for young adults, and it's also a quick pick for reluctant readers. So this one is a very good book, and it's also been noted by a lot of award winning, and it gets very good reviews. Alright, so this book is about a 7th grader named Malika, who is also going to be dealing with an obstacle. She has very black skin, and she used to be proud of that black skin until kids started teasing her. She meets a bully who she then feels like she has to become friends with so that she can fit in. And also, she wants that bully to protect her because this bully is very popular in school. And she feels like if she becomes friends with this bully, that the bully will help her when others are teasing her. A new teacher comes to the school named Mrs. Saunders. And Mrs. Saunders also is different. Malika is different as well. She's being teased by being so black, and this teacher is different. Miss Saunders is also going to be teased by all the kids in school. Malika will go through so much trying to fit in. You're going to read this book to find out how Malika overcomes her obstacles, and do you think Miss Saunders, who has dealt with being teased all her life, to find out why she's being teased, you must read this book. But Miss Saunders also was teased all of her life. And do you think she'll be able to help Malika overcome her obstacle? Do you think Malika can learn anything from Mrs. Saunders? So we're going to see how Malika overcomes her obstacle in this book as well. And I'm also going to read an insert to let you see what Malika was feeling. John McIntyre is the smallest 7th grader in the world. Even 5th graders can see over his head. Sometimes I have a hard time believing he and me are both 13. He is my color, but some of the second graders are taller than him. He has been teasing me since 2nd grade about being too black. What do you think about that? Do you think sometimes people tease others just to make themselves feel good about something they may be going through? In this book, Malika is going to deal with a lot of teasing from people in her neighborhood. She's going to be teased by people in her school. And she's also going to have to deal with accepting and loving herself. And you're going to see those structured events to show you how she overcame her obstacle. You are going to work with a web, overcoming an obstacle. You're going to think about an obstacle that you had to go through once you study and read these 3 books. And then you're going to write a narrative in the form of a journal entry telling how you overcame that obstacle, relating it to this standard. You're going to also ask yourself, how can journal writing help us? You know, sometimes when we are feeling bad and we're going through an obstacle, writing down our thoughts and writing things in a journal will help us, okay? So you want to think about, what do you write in a journal? How many of you have journals? And when you write in your journal, what do you say? How does writing make you feel? So that's what you're going to be putting all of this into a journal entry, thinking about one obstacle that you had to overcome. Also, what are some consequences you face when something that's going on with yourself? What are some consequences that may take place when you try to take up for yourself when you're being picked on? What are some consequences that you face? And then also, you want to ask yourself, why do you think it matters so much about how other people feel about you? Why do you think that matters to us? Why do you think we care about what people think? You know, ask yourself that question. And how does it make you feel when someone doesn't love you, whether it be a parent or a family member, like in this book? Or how does it make you feel when something's wrong with you and you don't feel the same as all the other students in your school? You feel left out. And this is how these 2 books correlate. These two characters in this book, they do not feel like everyone else around them. They feel so different. So how do you think that makes us feel when we just feel like we're isolated and it's only us in that particular situation? Okay? So that's what you're going to be doing. And I hope you enjoy reading these 3 books. These 3 books are very heart-touching. They're very emotional. They make you feel those characters. They help you understand those characters. And they help you see the struggles that they went through to overcome those obstacles. So I hope you enjoy reading these 3 books. Okay? Now, ending my book talk, I want to go over why I chose this theme and why I chose this standard. And a lot of times, you notice as educators, we deal with students who feel different, and bullying is so popular these days where children feel like everything people say to them and do to them, it really matters. Whereas when I was going to school, we were picked on all the time, and it really didn't bother us. But today, it seems that children are really taking a hold to being bullied and being picked on, and it really bothers them. So I chose these 3 books, and most of them are in a readability area. The Skin I'm In readability is $670 for the Lexile. One Crazy Summer is $750, and Thank You, Mr. Faulkner is also $650, like The Skin I'm In. So these are both $650 reading ability levels. And I chose these, again, like I said, I want to work with the students. I think this would be something fun, and it would be also something educational, and it's also related to a standard where they need to write a narrative. So it's also going to help them overcome obstacles. It's going to help them figure out when things are not going right in their lives, what do they do? Because so many times we have children who are dealing with a parent or family issue. They don't know what to do. They're constantly being picked on in school, or they may have a disability and they don't know what to do. So I chose this theme just to kind of shed some light on some things that are occurring in our schools today, and something that will be appropriate for young adults. You know, young adults are the main ones who have to go through this because they're constantly changing. Their feelings are changing. Their emotions are changing. And they kind of get lost and don't really know what to do. So I think this is very appropriate for young adults. Again, the standard is Georgia standard. Next year, we're going to Common Core. So this is a Common Core standard about writing a narrative to develop real or imagined experience. And most of their experiences will be real because it's going to be an obstacle that they went through no matter what it is. And they're going to use some effective techniques, well-structured event sequence, and descriptive details to write this. Okay, I hope you enjoyed my book talk and my summary at the end. Thank you.